A system can be successful and still train your soul to live under toil. That is the part we do not always want to admit, because we tend to measure systems by results. Did it grow? Did it scale? Did it get attention? Did it make money? Did it open doors? But the kingdom asks deeper questions like, what did it require from your soul? What did it do to your peace? What did it train you to worship? What kind of person did it make you while it was working? Hey, tribe. Welcome to another episode of the Becoming Her podcast. This is your host, Faye Jones, and today we're talking about how to stop building under Babylon's pressure. And I want to make something clear from the beginning. When I use the word Babylon, I am not using it as a vague religious insult. I am talking about a pattern, a spirit, a system, a way of building that is obsessed with speed, height, noise, visibility, control, and making a name for yourself. Babylon says build fast. Babylon says build high. Babylon says make sure people know your name. Babylon says if you are not growing quickly, you are falling behind. Babylon says keep producing, keep proving, keep showing, keep climbing. And because we live in a world that rewards visible momentum, that pressure can start feeling normal. It can even start feeling responsible. But heaven builds differently. Heaven builds deep. Heaven builds clean. Heaven builds with obedience. Heaven is not intimidated by a slower pace when the foundation is righteous. That is where many women need relief, because a lot of women are not lazy. They are not unserious. They are not lacking ambition. They are tired of trying to build cleanly inside systems that keep rewarding compromise, speed, image, and self-reliance. They are looking around thinking, if I do not keep up, I am going to disappear. But let's make this plain. The pace of Babylon is not the proof of kingdom fruit. Just because something is moving fast does not mean it is blessed. Just because something is visible does not mean it is weighty. Just because something is impressive does not mean it is clean. And just because a strategy works does not mean it should disciple your life. That is the distinction. And we are not saying strategy is bad. We are not saying marketing is bad. We are not saying growth is bad. We are not saying money is bad. We are saying pressure is not Lord. We are saying the algorithm is not Lord. We are saying your name is not the altar. We are saying your business is not allowed to become a machine that consumes the life God gave you. This is where it gets practical. Babylon's pressure shows up in daily rhythms. It shows up when you cannot post one clear message without wondering whether it will perform. It shows up when you feel guilty for not turning every thought into content. It shows up when you keep adding more to your schedule because someone online said consistency means constant visibility. It shows up when you start treating your body, your family, your story, your pain, and your private moments like inventory. It shows up when you keep saying yes to opportunities because you are afraid that if you do not grab the door, another one will not open. It shows up when you confuse being seen with being sent. That is a dangerous place. Because Babylon does not just ask for your work, it asks for your worship. It asks you to bow to speed, bow to exposure, bow to comparison, bow to public proof, bow to the fear of being forgotten, bow to the pressure of making your name known. But the kingdom asks a better question. Can this be blessed? Not just will this work? Can this be blessed? Can this pace be blessed? Can this content pattern be blessed? Can this offer be blessed? Can this schedule be blessed? Can this ambition be blessed? Can this version of success be blessed without costing your soul? That question will slow you down. And sometimes slowing down is the first act of deliverance. This is part of the larger conversation I unpack in Righteousness in the Marketplace. The book is for women who want to build businesses, careers, ministries, brands, books, and bodies of work without letting success cost their soul. If this conversation is naming something you have been sensing, you can learn more at fayjoneslive.com/rim. It is available through my website, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, and wherever else books are sold. Now, how do you know when Babylon's pressure is shaping your building? Start by looking at the fruit, not the public fruit, the private fruit. What is this producing in you? Is it producing peace, clarity, obedience, and clean stewardship? Or is it producing anxiety, comparison, irritability, envy, exhaustion, resentment, and a constant fear of falling behind? Because the fruit tells the truth. You can call it strategy, but if it keeps producing fear, you need to examine it. You can call it consistency, but if it keeps producing resentment, you need to examine it. You can call it ambition, but if it keeps producing self-betrayal, you need to examine it. And that is not condemnation. That is discernment. And I want to say this especially to the woman who is building something meaningful and feels like she is behind. You are not behind just because you are not moving at Babylon's pace. Sometimes obedience looks slower because God is building something deeper than visibility. Sometimes the thing that looks delayed is actually being protected. Sometimes God is not withholding growth. He is building capacity, character, discernment, and stability. Because what good is it to gain a large platform if your peace cannot survive it? What good is it to grow fast if the growth trains you to neglect your body, your family, your prayer life, your integrity, and your own humanity? What good is it to make your name known if heaven cannot trust what you built? These are the questions we have to ask, not because growth is bad, because growth without consecration becomes dangerous. And coming out of Babylon does not always mean quitting everything. Sometimes it means changing the spirit behind how you build. It may mean changing your pace. It may mean changing your content rhythm. It may mean refusing to turn private moments into public proof. It may mean letting some opportunities pass because they require too much of your peace. It may mean asking God before you adopt another strategy. It may mean building a simpler life, not because you are shrinking, but because you are refusing to build a tower for your name. Let's make this real. Before you say yes to the next thing, ask, is this obedience or is this pressure? Before you add more to your schedule, ask, is this stewardship or am I afraid of being forgotten? Before you copy the strategy, ask, does this align with the way God asked me to build? Before you chase the open door, ask, did God open this or did anxiety push me toward it? Before you measure your life by someone else's speed, ask, am I building deep or am I just trying to look like I am moving? These questions are not meant to paralyze you. They are meant to bring your building back under the lordship of Christ. That is what clean building requires. It requires discernment. It requires patience. It requires the courage to be unimpressed by the pace of people who are building from pressure. It requires the humility to be hidden when God is forming you. It requires the strength to build what can be trusted, not just what can be seen. So here is the recap. Babylon builds fast, high, and for a name. Heaven builds deep, clean, and for God's glory. The difference is not always visible at first. Both can look productive, both can look impressive, both can produce results. But over time, the fruit will tell the truth. One produces toil, the other produces obedience. One makes you feel behind, the other helps you stay rooted. One trains you to prove, the other teaches you to steward. And if you are going to build what God can bless, you have to be willing to come out of the pressure, even when the pressure is popular. This week, look at your rhythms, look at your schedule, look at your content decisions, look at your ambition, look at what you keep calling necessary. Then ask God one clean question. Am I building with heaven's pattern or am I building under Babylon's pressure? That question may not flatter you, but it will help you get free. And that is how the growing can continue. You can listen to the Becoming Her podcast on my website, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or Spotify. Follow or subscribe so you do not miss the next episode. And if this conversation helped you see your building differently, leave a review. It helps the podcast grow, become more discoverable, and reach women who are trying to build with clean hands in a noisy world.